Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the class. Today, we are going to mainly talk about Chapter 6, that is about marketing research information system. This is relatively a short chapter, very straightforward, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the knowledge points are not important. They are very important, actually. Marketing research is a very essential process in marketing management that will serve a base for a future marketing strategy or strategic decision making. So let's start the contents. So, as always, even if we know marketing research, since this is a global marketing course, and we should put marketing research in a global context. If you study marketing and marketing research, you will see some of the contents are never covered before. We take a very unique global marketing perspective to implement some of marketing research process. So for the chapter, we're going to talk about IT, MIS, and big data. Big data is relatively a new trend in marketing. Then we talk about marketing information, different information that you can get, because marketing research is not just tap your head, I should do this, I should do that. Everything should be based on data and the data analysis. Then we talk about different marketing research process and how can we do marketing research cross-border in another market. There are different ways you can do different alternatives. You can choose from. Lastly, we talk about information's role in strategic decision in a global context. So, first of all, some basic definitions. IT, information technology. Actually, it is a technology. Optimization is process for the technology used for creating, storing, exchanging, using, managing, or even like analyzing information. But MIS is a system. It's an information system, but it is in the business context of management information system. Then big data, the system should be, the process MIS system should cover a wide range of activity from the very beginning, gathering data, then analyzing, reporting, then storing data, try to go through the whole process and taking advantage or utilizing the data to help company to improve the efficiency for operations or improve the decision making, all kinds of decision, corporate level, department level. For us, it is marketing perspective. Big data, now more and more IT and MIS system, they rely on big data, use a number to tell the story, to reflect truth for consumer behavior, for market trend, competitive situation, and so on. So big data means large size of data, volume is large, voluminous amount of data. Second, a variety of data, all kinds of data, what we call 360 degree of data. So as a consumer, they can get data on your mindsets, your culture background, demographics, psychographics, past purchasing record, financial situations of you, even go tap into your past credit history, educational history, criminal history, everything. So they get all the information for you, and then use the information to make prediction. Because people's behavior, your mindset change is quite difficult to predict. But if you get more information, more or less, you can accurately make prediction for people's behavior, or at least understand people's behavior. So large volume and the variety is diverse. Then the velocity, what we call velocity, means the speed of generating the data is quick. You just made a purchase and timely, it is reflected in the database on you specific as a customer, and the data is continuously generated, collected, and analyzed to improve the updates for the understanding of you. If people want to use your information to make prediction, they can do it constantaneously. So that's the meaning for big data. Business intelligence network. It's part of MI's business intelligence. It is the intelligence kind of skill sets or smartness, shrewdness of the management information system, that it can get access to the data, manipulate the data, work on the data, and get results to provide managers and analysts with the ability to use the data to tell a story, to find a pattern. So with the help of business intelligence, you can use more and more information, and use all this information with your intelligence on data, your knowledge on business. You can help to make better decisions. So that is called a business intelligence. That's the intelligence part in business management. There are some terminologies. I think most of the companies all achieved this, but you have to understand, you see this from business journals, publications, news medias, but you have to understand and differentiate all these terminologies. Intranet, that is a network for MIS system for information technology that is within the company. And also related, the term is extranet. Extranet is outside your company, but intranet can be connected with extranet. So that will create something called EDI, electronic data interchange. So EDI is a platform that allows computer systems to speak with each other, can communicate with each other, whether it's intranet within the company across different departments, different front ends, or cross companies. You can exchange information, connect with each other. You can connect your system with your suppliers, with your retailers, exchange information, update information, and make your company to be a real-time enterprise. Think about like Amazon, FedEx, when they ship out something, when there's a purchase done in Amazon, in their database, immediately the purchase department will report the information, record the information, and the warehouse can get updates of the information, prepare for logistic management and ship out. When they ship out, they update the information. Maybe they ship through FedEx and they have good connection with FedEx. So one item pass over to FedEx in Amazon's system, they update the information and they get a code that's a tracking code from FedEx, right? And the FedEx takes item, they scan it, it's in the system, and you really can track and follow up the process of transportation, when the item was received, when the item is shipped out from warehouse, on the roads, where when the item is getting close to the destination, is going out for delivery, or whether it is delivered, and so on. And when they get updates of information and feedback to Amazon systems, so all the systems are connected and real-time information is updated. So that's RTE. ECR, efficient consumer response. You use all these kind of intranets, you become an RTE enterprise. You use EDI to get information updated and exchanged. Then you can efficiently respond to consumers' needs, optimize the supply chain, improve your service to consumer, respond quickly to consumers' demand and request. So this is a kind of concept, ECR, and also it's a kind of management process. EPOS, POS is point of sales, electronic point of sales. Information is collected, recorded, stored at the point of sales. A common place that we encounter most of the time or every day is the scanner at the grocery store or at all kinds of department store. You go there, you scan the product, you pay the cashier with credit card or with cash, and all the information is recorded in the electronic system. And the point of connection between you and the company, you and the store, is at a scanner, and that point is called a point of sale. So information is collected electronically at the point of sales. So that's EPOS. Based on all the other definitions, achievements of all the above, companies are doing customer relationship management. So this is a very straightforward definition. Company is managing the customer relationship through all the above. It is a business model. It's a new concept. A new principle of philosophy for the company. I do everything. I use the information. I use all the touch points to collect information about my customer. The purpose is to improve the relationship with my customer and improve the service to customer. I will, through all these touch points, I'll show you how many touch points you have on the next slide. And collect the data, put it in the data warehouse, and analyze the data and make the data available for Salesforce and the marketing professionals to design marketing programs, to respond to consumer needs and improve our service to customer and bring value to customer. A source of marketing information will be from mainly from personal sources, but we'll talk about different source of marketing information. Could be secondary data, could be from all CI and touch points as well. But within the company, personal information sources mainly from personal persons within the company, work for the company. They collect all the information in the past and store it in their mind, on the computer, in the intranet system, and so on. And it's very important. 2/3 of the corporate information are stored by persons, more or less related to the company. So executives, company subsidiaries, affiliates, branches, whoever or whichever communicates with your stakeholders, distributors, suppliers, consumers, customers, or government officials. But that is cross-board, cross-country, okay? Because we're talking about a global context. For domestic companies, they don't care about information overseas because they only focus on one country, the market of within one country. All the information you collected first-hand information is very important. So it is very important for all the people getting involved to see, to feel, to hear, and to get the direct information, first-hand information, or people's behavioral information is more important than attitudinal information. So information has quality, has different levels of quality, different levels of accuracy. And what we value the most is the first-hand information. CRM technology, this is a basic platform for a process for doing CRM. In a global context, of course, we're talking about global marketing, and this is CRM is not new. You see, this is from a publication 2003, but ever since then, the idea doesn't change. Customer relationship management, the process is you have globally dispersed, distributed customers, and you use customer touch points to have interaction with your customers to collect information, and all these information will be utilized by front office function. People can get direct contact with customers, mainly will be marketing and sales people. Then you do a lot of service, of course, to them through interactions, and you collect information and process information, get a lot of insights for decision making, for a revision of your marketing strategy, service strategy, and that kind of information, raw information, and the process information will be fed to back office, account payable, budgeting or production, inventory management, logistical management, payroll, personnel planning, and so on. Use them for company internal management, operations management, or for budgeting, financial planning purpose, or for strategic decision. Okay, so these are the four steps you see. 1, 2, 3, 4 big components over there. This is a very well developed theoretical framework, and ever since it is created, the framework, this part got changed a lot. The company within the company setup doesn't change much. Okay, the process doesn't change much, but the touch points, if we go back by almost 20 years, we only have website, internet, we still use that to communicate with customers. People, you post information on the website, people can come, can see, they can ask questions through the website. But at that time, probably the website, you don't have a chat function, okay? You don't have messenger function, but you mainly use email, use call. So email and call center, voice response system, for calling this automatic answering machine, and so on. Voicemail, probably it's over there. Kiosks, retail shops, service department, all these are the regular touch points. Still, we are using all of these, but we have more to come. Okay, more and more companies, they launch their own channel, online sales. They launch social media to communicate with customers, right? So these are the new booming technology. Companies are communicating with customers to create interaction and create an opportunity for touch points. Okay, so this is basically CRM management. How a company can do market research. Market research is a very, very specialized function. So if you are a small company, probably you don't care, you don't do it. Okay, if you're a medium-sized company, you want to do it, but you might not have all the professionals your company to do specialized type of work. Even for big companies, some of the functions are outsourced. So you will always see marketing research company like AC Nielsen is one type of it. Or other marketing research agencies, if you want to do advertising, you want to do survey, you need very special type of people who get the skill sets, who get the connections, who get the customer pools, help you to do it. Then they are special marketing research agencies. But some companies, they have their own marketing research team. For some of the tasks, they can do it by themselves. So put that in mind. Sometimes you use agency, sometimes you don't use agency. Do it by yourself. But if you put marketing research tasks in the global context, it's get very complex. If you're in America, you want to do marketing research in Japan, you want to do marketing research in Brazil, it's getting very complicated. So there are different ways you can do. If you use agency, you can hire a local agency that they get exposure in a target country. Let's say Brazil. Okay, they get coverage in Brazil, so you contact their agency, the office in America, and ask them to do something in Brazil, or you contact their office in America, and they have sub-branch in Brazil, and the agency in America contact their local subsidiary in Brazil and do marketing research in Brazil market. Or if your company has an exposure, a subsidiary in Brazil, you can have your subsidiary over there, your branch over there, contact the local agency in Brazil and do marketing research on customers. Or you can contact a foreign agency in Brazilian marketing research company. You trust them, they have the capability, they can do marketing research for Brazilian customers. So so many alternatives you can choose whatever you feel comfortable, whatever applicable to you. And if you do cross-border, definitely you should put cultural barrier into consideration, because customers or marketing research, the routines, the process, the real implementation and the operations might be a little bit different from what you get in America. Okay. In terms of marketing research, I think this is very much similar to what we have, the process we do in domestic market. Let's see the process. And this is a very comprehensive flow chart for the process. We'll go through it completely, and then we'll go into individual step and get additional information later on. First of all, you should have a firm objective. You want to go into a market, you want to probably understand people's preference, for example, for your product attributes and so on, or price information. So you should have an objective in mind. Then you decide what kind of information you want. For example, you want to decide the price, optimal price to launch in Brazilian market. What will be the information you need? Market information, okay? People's income, like other products, other competitors in the market, and so on. So your firm might have different needs for the information. Or if you want to make strategic decision and you want to be aggressive, then the set of information will be more tilted toward competitors' pricing over there, or potential competitive situation, like how many people are looking at the markets and so on. How many competitors they just open their branch over there, open their manufacturing facilities over there. All this information will be required. You want to collect it. And the problem-oriented, definitely you want to get the price information more or less, because you are making price decision, right? So these are the firm's needs for information requirement. Problem definition. When you define the problem, try to avoid use self-reference criterion. Don't use if you want to check people's preference for your product to respond to your function, design, whatever, try to avoid self-reference criteria. Don't use your judgment, your experience with consumers in America to make a judgment. You'll be wrong because you're facing Brazilian consumers. Okay, so put yourself in an independent shoes, take an independent, objective perspective toward Brazilian customer. Okay, or try to go there and stand in their shoes, understand the local culture, and choose a unit of analysis. You want to do collect information, do analysis for the whole country, or you just work on a specific region, or if you are targeting multiple markets, multiple countries, and you do collect information, doing analysis globally, or you do only a small segment in a country. So the unit of analysis, you have to be careful. What's the scale of doing marketing research? Data availability. If you want to collect the information about, for example, people's income, the price level of competitors' products, are you able to get secondary data? Secondary data means data already collected by other people. So when people collect the data, they get first-hand data, okay? But when you approach to the data source and try to get the data is already secondary. Secondary data has been collected for related purpose or other purposes, but the data is available. It can be useful for you, and you can get immediate access to it. The data will be 100% related to your case, or will be partially related to your case. So that's secondary data. Related concept is primary data. Primary data is not existing at the first place. You have to collect it by yourself, specifically for your research purpose. Then it is primary data. Okay, there are different ways you can collect primary data. Then if you want to collect the data, no matter it's primary, no matter it's secondary, you have to do a cost-benefit analysis. If there's cost involved, then you have to decide whether how much is the cost, how much is the difficulty to get the data, because cost is not only about it's not only monetary, but also can be time, right? Energy, human resource, all these get involved. So how much effort or investment you should get to collect the data, what would be the payoff for it, whether you are better off. So the return on investment, you have to think about it. If you want to collect the data, then secondary data, you just contact, access it, or purchase it. Okay, straightforward. If you want to collect the primary data, there are different ways you can do. You can use survey. You can doing observation. You can do focus group. You can do all kinds of method. Use all kinds of method to collect the data. And if you're doing survey, you have to design questions. There are different kinds of questions, yes and no. You can Likert scale. You like the product, so rate between 1 and 7, right? And you can have open question. What kind of design do you want for this kind of product? What kind of taste do you like for this kind of soda drink? Okay, collect all the information, no matter it is structured data or unstructured data. Structured data means 0, 1, like you get demographics, 0, 1, age, income, all these self-reported in numbers, very clear cut. You can directly put into software to do analysis, statistical software to do analysis, right? But unstructured data will be like in Word or graphic information. You can't use it for analysis immediately. You can have to do some conversion to numbers so the computers can read and process on that. So that's unstructured data. So no matter what kind of data you have, you should work on the data and distill information, patterns, make prediction based on the data. So you have to do data analysis. There are all kinds of methods you can use. All these are conventional methods: factor analysis, cluster factor analysis. You have a lot of questions, just boil down to several key attributes. So it's a kind of variable reduction method, and tap into the underlying meaning for a bunch of answers. Cluster analysis, group used to group subjects or people into different segments or clusters. Help you to differentiate among different subjects. Multidimensional scaling is a kind of tool to use to reflect the positioning of product on different attributes of standing or marketing positioning on different attributes, especially for product or brand. Conjoint analysis, it is used mainly to force people to make decisions on competing alternatives and eventually choose out the best design, best option for you. So these are different data analysis tools but we don't want to get in deep into it. It's beyond the scope of this class, but just be aware that there are different tools you can use for different kind of purposes. Lastly, you get the results and present to related people, top management or other people from other departments. So reflection, recapitulation for the process. Now we get into detailed points for each step. Step 1, information requirement. One thing we have to emphasize on is the information for existing market or potential market. For example, we want to get price information. If the market has already been there, we can collect information very easily, very straightforward, go onto the market and see how many products over there, record the prices. But what if the product is not over there? How can you gauge what will be the price, what will people's response for the price? In potential market, there are 2 types. One is a latent market. That means there's a demand for the product. If you put the product over there, people immediately will buy. So for that kind of market, probably you bring introduction to the people and they immediately can identify how the preference for the product, how much they are willing to pay, and so on, right? Another one is even a little bit further away from the reality. That's called an incipient market. A latent market can be, for example, a developing country. People don't bring iPhone to the market. So people buying other smartphones, but they don't see a fancy product like iPhone. They never used it, so there's no price information for it. Okay, But when you bring it over there, people start to generate their demand. They can have internal evaluation and tell you what they are willing to pay, how much they are willing to pay for the product, what kind of function they like for the product, and so on. Incipient market is different. The product can't be over there because there's no infrastructure over there. So the prediction of the reported information is even more difficult. For example, 5G. If I want to launch a 5G phone in Africa, it's not like just bring the product over there. People can tell you how much they like it. And so first of all, you cannot bring the product over there because there's no 5G infrastructure over there. So the product cannot be brought over there, and the people are so foreign to that kind of technology. There's no comparison they can make to understand the real product, real benefit that will bring to the market. So this is incipient market. So latent market is one step away. Incipient market is 2 steps away. Okay. Why do I need the information? Of course, there should be some logic why you need the competitors' information, price information, to give you some implications on how you are going to price the product. The logic should be over there, right? Because that will set up the price ceiling for you. If you provide something comparable, competitors set the price at $200. If you go over $200, people just go to your competitors. They never will. They never will buy your product. Okay, self-reference criteria. Try to understand the market. Don't use your own criteria to make judgment. We have mentioned that the SRC and how to overcome the hurdle restrictions or limitations by SRC in previous chapters. Some examples will be people bring Barbies to Japan. They wishfully think that the taste, the preference for Barbie will be the same as American customers, American girls, but no, Japanese people, they have their own cartoon culture, they have their own idols, they prefer, they admire, they have their own aesthetical criteria. So you have to do some adaptations over there. Disney's, when they launch their Disneyland in France, they do the decoration for the restaurants, for buildings and so on, using American type of style, but French people just don't like it. So they have to change the design decorations for the restaurant, for the building interiors to fit into French culture. So don't use your own criteria to make judgment. Hire some local experts, get advice from professionals, from people in that culture. Or at least you should step back and be objective and use a third-party viewpoint to look at the situation. Unit of analysis we talk about, so decide what will be the scale for your marketing research. Data availability, company record, we said 2/3 of information you probably can get from from the personal sources in your company. Secondary data, what kind of secondary data can be used, or can secondary data be used, or can this secondary data be used, or can that secondary data be used, because they were collected not for your research, your business, your marketing problem or purpose, but for other purposes, whether they are relevant. whether you can utilize it, it's a big problem. Try to understand the data in the first place and link that to your research problem. Some sources for secondary data can be government resources. All kinds of government agencies publish data for public usage. Commercial sources, sometimes they release information to the public, but most of the commercial sources are not free. The data was collected, generated by consulting companies. They make a living on selling their data and their service, consulting services. Okay, since data collection costs time, costs money, so do a return on investment analysis. Here's a list of points that you should go through to make a judgment about input and output return on investment. So research design, primary data collection, that's related to primary data collection. Secondary data, you don't have to design studies to collect the data. Of course, it's costly to do primary data collection, and difficult to implement. More time is needed, more people should get involved into it. Sometimes you have to hire an agency to do it. But the data collected will be highly relevant to your business purpose objectives, right? It's first-hand information, very important. Different ways you can collect the data: doing survey research. We all more or less encountered with a questionnaire, right? Or interviews. People who approach you, ask questions on spot. Then consumer panels. People recruit panel of consumers and observe, follow up their purchasing behavior, for example, or marketing related behavior. For example, ads agency will put a device onto your TV, they'll record your viewing history, viewing behavior, channel switching behavior, very timely, and store it, analyze it, so that they can know how they can optimize the advertising program. Okay, observation. Just go to a field environment. Go to the store. Observe how people touring in the store. How people are viewing the shelves. How people are picking candidate products to purchase, and what kind of the final product they put in the basket. So that's from observation. Focus group is another type of marketing research method. They hire a representative group of customers. Not many, normally will be 10 to 20 consumers, but they are the representative for the general target market. So let's say there's an age distribution for the targeted consumer group. Then in the focus group, you just mimic the distribution, like 10%. 10% will be elder people, 50% will be middle-aged household, and the rest will be younger generation. So you, when you hire 10 people, you just take the same distribution of the population components. Then you have a facilitator sitting in front of this group of subjects and ask structured questions, pre-designed questions to them, and have very interactive communication with them. And since it's a focus group, small group, it's a interactive communication environment. You can get deep into individual questions, and most of the time you get answers for a lot of open-ended questions, very in-depth understanding about people's preference, their evaluation for like product design, price setting, and so on. Of course, for the whole process, normally like 2 to 3 hours. You record all the information, questions, answers, people's response. Sometimes you videotape that, see people's response, even like facial expression and so on. Then you collect all the information and analyze to get the answers to your questions. So that's focus group. When you do research design, one important part is to design questions. For example, survey. You want to ask, for example, people's preference for the price. Try to use multiple indicators. For example, I want to understand whether people will be interested in buying the product at $50, the price. You can use different questions to get the same answer. If I set the price at 50, are you interested in buying? What's the likelihood of purchase a product if the price is at 50? They actually ask the same thing, but since you're asking a lot of questions, sometimes people show their attitude, they are courteous, they have some bias. So just ask one question, you might get some bias. But if you ask multiple questions mingled in a set of questions, people cannot lie to you, and the bias will be offset more or less. And you can also ask people, you want to understand their price tolerance, right? To see whether $50 will be a good price. You can ask them, what's the highest price that you definitely will buy? Or what's the lowest price that definitely you are going to buy the product, and so on. So all these will boil down to the same point of interest, price tolerance, whether $50 price will be optimal, will be within the consideration set for a consumer. Design customized questions specific for an industry, product, market, or business model. That is true because for people buying grocery or people buying electronics and so on, the questions can be different. Okay, the way you ask questions, evaluation process for people can be different. So you have to tailor your question to that kind of considerations. Do not assess a marketing in isolation. If you want to understand people's behavior in Las Cruces, probably you can ask people in related areas, try to make a little comparison or use them as benchmark and so on, like ask people in El Paso, Alamogordo, and so on, try to understand, because these markets are related, probably can give you some implications on people's preference in Las Cruces, or at least can benchmarking each other and see the variation and see the potential biases. Another important point is attitudes. Behavior is always more important than attitude. So a lot of people will prefer observation because that's a behavior. But attitude, because of you do interview, you do survey, sometimes people are very courteous, or sometimes the problem is difficult to answer. Or there are some taboos, people won't release that kind of information to you. So, or even people release that information to you, they give you biased answer, more or less. For example, you are going to offer a new product, ask people whether you would like the product, a new design of the product. Because you work for the company, how can people answer? Say no. Say definitely I don't like, or I hate it. No, to be courteous, people will say it is okay, it's good, not too bad, and so on. But there's bias embedded in it. You have to be aware of that. Qualitative research use because you do survey, you design questions, you ask people's attitude, try to understand customers, get close to them, use a way, use a communication that they feel comfortable, easy to open their heart to understand them, okay? And put into the social culture context of people's behavior. This group of people, they are very courteous. Japanese people never say no. So you have to understand these, try to design questions, release their true belief, okay? Get under the skin. So all these you have to put into consideration. Issues in data collection, try to understand for a certain market, you might use different marketing mix, different ways, different marketing tools. So your question should be related to that. If you are going to make an adaptation for your marketing tool, you are not using pricing related tools, then you should be driving away from price related questions and so on. Try to understand existing market and potential markets. For potential markets, you should design questions very carefully to reflect the potential people's preference for that. Remember, latent market is 1 step away and incipient market is 2 steps away. So probably you need more education for people about the product, about the market usage, and then you can tap into deeply into their heart about the preference for your product or reactions to your marketing activity. Research methodology, I talk about that. We'll talk about panel observation, survey focus group. For questions, there are different questions you can decide. One type is yes, no. Okay, one type is direct number, 0 to 100, age, income, easy to do. One type is open-ended question. What kind of taste do you like and why? These are very open-end. You can get all varieties of answers. Be aware of bias for sure. Sometimes Likert scale 0 to 7 or 1 to 10. People tend to get close to 10. There's some kind of bias toward giving you high rating for that. Sampling is another thing you should pay attention that has something to do with your subject, your target, the consumer. If, let's say, I give you an example for the focus group, right? If there's age distribution for the target market, you should follow that, the distribution closely, then you get a probability sample, okay? Because for a target group, 10% should be elder people, right? So if you do survey, you recruit 500 subjects, 50 people should be elder people. That's probability sample reflecting true distribution, right? But sometimes people take it in either way, use convenience sample. They forget about the distribution in their population. So that's called a non-probability sample. You go to the mall, you just observe anyone go into the store at a specific time point. You're wrong because that might not be representative, not probability oriented sample, because at that time only elder people go to the store, but elder people only account for 20% of the final consumers, final target consumers for your product, then you are wrong. You should really put that into consideration and make correction. Okay. Latest trend is internet. You can do survey, you can do all kinds of things on internet. Internet becomes a venue for doing marketing research, collect the data. So you have online survey, online focus group, online tracking, and at least the people can follow your click-through behavior on the internet, try to understand your behavior, product search, checkouts behavior, and so on. Email is a good way to communicate with people, and so on. So internet is becoming a more and more important avenue to do marketing research and to collect data. That's a trend. And it's convenient, costless, and data is collected instantaneously and continuously most of the time. Okay, data analysis. Visual output is very important. Sometimes you just plot the data onto the map, and with the aid of certain technique, for example, perceptual mapping, you can collect information on people's preference for different brands, on comfort and distinct image, whether image is unique and so on. And then you can use perceptual mapping. It's a statistical tool, a multidimensional tool, a statistical analysis, multidimensional statistical analysis, and map it two-dimensionally. So you can see Toyota is here. It's not very personality type of car, okay, but it's very comfort to people. And Hummer is very personality type of car, but it's not comfort to a lot of people. It's so it's too much personality demonstrating, maybe to a lot of people, but then a lot of people don't feel comfortable. Okay. So different methods, it's beyond the scope of this class. I don't want to cover, but if you are really interested in marketing research, you have to prepare for all these things, and then you will become a professional who can do something that other people cannot do. Finally, present your finding. There are some rules you have to follow. Findings can be complex because you use different methods, complicated methods to do it. Then try to present in plain words. Some people or layman, they can understand. Simplify your findings. Your findings can be very complicated. Just summarize and present in a simple way. You use a language that the people, business people, or your audience, if they are not business people, they're not in marketing, they can understand. Okay. When you write a report, use a memo executive summary to summarize your findings. Normally, what I require, if you write a business report, marketing report, at the front, you should have an executive summary telling what is an objective for your report, and what you are going to do for the whole report. And towards the end, you use a summary to summarize what you have done and what you find. What is a conclusion or recommendation? Some issues still puzzling us is if you want to do market research, where is the control point? We have different alternatives, right? If we want to hire an agency, you can have a bunch of alternatives. So where is the controlling point? Domestic or overseas, okay? And comparability is important when you are working for marketing research for another country. Make sure that you design something that's compatible in that country, and you can use the results. You can use the results back in your home office to make decisions. And when you make marketing research across different countries, try to design the study, collect the data, so you can make comparison of the result across countries. Okay, you want to understand people's preference for the new design. Make sure you do the research in different languages, different market situation. You get the same type of answer that's comparable. If you translate back, they are comparable. So the results can be interpreted shoulder by shoulder, okay? And you can immediately make a decision across different market. So there are two types of research. One is called emic analysis. Emic analysis is you do a marketing research for a standalone market. I try to understand consumer behavior in Brazilian market. So I only study Brazilian people. One culture, don't make any comparison. The other one is I'm studying different cultures. So it's called ethic analysis, study different cultures and make comparison. Then a lot of considerations you should put. For example, you can, in Brazilian market, you can ask 10 kinds of behavior, but in Colombia market, there's one kind of behavior that's not relevant. So eventually when you design the behavior pattern and so on, you should take out that one that is not common, that's not comparable across the global scope. Ethic analysis is across different countries, and the results should be comparable across them. The design, the answer should be, or implementation should be special. So it is across different cultures. Comparability is something you have to pay attention to. Okay, so that's all about marketing research, information management, and marketing research process in a global set. And this is very brief, just an overview for whole marketing research. Marketing research, it can be a whole semester class, but I just give you a brief overview for marketing research in a global setting. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.